What's up, YouTube? It's Ask the Young One with CreateHigherVibrations.com. First off, I hope everyone had a happy new year and I hope you had a Merry Christmas. I know for some, it probably, everybody's different. Everybody's going through different things. But at the very most, you're here and I hope it was good. And I wanted to make a video and really make a point as we enter this year, because this is a master year. This is a year of 22, which is a master number in numerology. And what that means is, for people with this master number, it is really a year of ascension, and there's going to be a lot of changes happening energetically. They're already happening, especially if you are aware of energy. There are a lot of things happening. A lot of surface things are at the surface, and a lot of people are still suffering from their unconsciousness. A lot of people are still suffering the consequences of their unconsciousness. And so I wanted to make a quick video and talk a little bit about this, and with this being this year, it's really about taking the actions, no longer dreaming about it, no more wishing about it, no more wishing I was healed, no more, I want this love in my life, but yet I don't want to do the work to get to it. No more of this. This is the year it's time to take action. And I hope that this will resonate with some people, and, express, my absolute gratitude towards this type of energy. It's really a lot, to take in, and I hope that people can start becoming aware and at least paying attention. And so in this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of questions that I was asked on why do I still hurt after I was told I was healed. So I received about 3 questions from 3 different people who have been to therapy, who have finished therapy, who no longer go to therapy, but now they're sending me asking, why am I still feeling stuck? Why am I not feeling like I'm moving forward? And the real question that I sent back to them was, did you eat today? Did you shower today? And they said yes. Did you do trauma work today? No. And so that would be what we have to understand. We have to continue with the actions. We have to stay on our path and on our journey. If we're wanting to heal, it's not an overnight process. It's not an easy process. You have to start committing yourself to your awareness, to your consciousness, and start understanding what it takes to heal. And you're going to heal. You're going to heal. You're going to hurt until you heal. There's no other way around it. It's going to hurt until you heal. And what's happening with these 3 people after further talks is, as they were going to therapy, sure, they felt better. They would go talk to their therapist for an hour, get a little bit more accomplished, a little more understanding, but then they weren't continuing with trauma work. There was no trauma work being done outside of that meeting. But yet they were beginning to distract themselves. We get into these things too, where we start getting into following certain things, like, positivity, be positive, which is fine. It's all good. Positive mindset is a must. It is a good thing, but at the same time, you don't want to distract completely from what you feel, because then when something happens, you're going to be triggered, and you're going to continue to be triggered. So what was happening with these people, with the persons that asked the question, is basically they were just distracting themselves with different things. Some of them were distracting themselves with more work. Oh, I'm going to start a business, so I'm going to distract myself. Some of them were distracting themselves with social media. And so after, you can eventually distract yourself enough to not have to feel the triggers anymore. And so when really the bottom line came down to, well, if you're not practicing the trauma work every day, then you're still carrying this trauma, this pain in the body. You're still toting this stuff around, and you've been toting it around your whole life, and that's why it keeps coming up, and that's why you keep being triggered by different scenarios, different situations. They still keep happening because you're still toting this nervous system is still wired through trauma. It's not being released. And so it's something that you have to understand, that when you're doing the trauma work and you're doing it every day, you're working on resetting this nervous system. You're working on releasing the trauma from the body. You're working on understanding yourself. You're working on understanding your triggers. Triggers are absolute gateway gold mines to your healing. When you are triggered, it is telling you and revealing a part of you that you need to pay attention to. It's not because that person is an asshole. Maybe they are. But if you're triggered by it, it's telling you something about you. And that's where you need to pay attention to, because if not, you're going to bury it. You're going to point the blame right back out to them. The thing is if this isn't a trauma in you that's being triggered, you'll have zero reaction. It won't affect you. It will flow right through you, and you will see them for what they are, real quick, real fast. You will not react to someone unless you are carrying something within you. And it's really that simple, and that's why it's so important to understand how much of a gold mine triggers are. When you're serious about healing, you get serious about your consciousness. You get serious about your awareness, and you really start paying attention to things. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be triggered. It's a great thing to be triggered if you're toting around this stuff. Because the more you reveal within yourself, the more you can begin to move this stuff out of your body and let it go and move it on. And then you're not carrying it no more. And you'll know if you're doing the daily trauma work and you're resetting this nervous system every day, you'll know as you're growing, you'll know, because eventually you'll pay attention to yourself through awareness. You're working through consciousness now. You're allowing the outer world to reflect to you what is going on within. And you'll know, because you won't react to it anymore. You'll simply respond. Or you'll let it be, because it has nothing to do with you. And you know this when you've healed that trauma within, you know it no longer is a part of you. And it doesn't matter who it is, if it's a narc, if it's what it is, who it is, if it's a boss, it doesn't matter. If you're not carrying it within you, you will no longer react to it. It's one thing that we have to understand, like, this shit runs so deep. Even for myself, like, when I've looked back and I've connected the dots going backwards, I can literally pinpoint exactly why I got in the situations that I got in. But I had to face myself. I had to face my triggers. I had to face looking at myself. I couldn't bury that away anymore and just, oh, I'm a good person. I got this high world at it. No, that's not going to get you anywhere. If you want to allow thyself to emerge and be who you are, not allow yourself to feel, like, allow it to happen. Fuck what people think. It's not what you're here for. You're here to evolve. And you're here to use this situation to allow yourself to evolve. You're here to use it as a tool. Yeah, it sucks. It really does. But if you're going to therapy, and you were told you're healed, and then you stop doing trauma work, that's a damn good therapist. it's a damn good one, because it's a journey. I mean, you really have to understand yourself. And even though you may not go to therapy anymore, you still have to continue to do the trauma work. You still have to continue to grow in awareness, to grow in consciousness. You still have to continue to reset your nervous system every day. You have to go through these things. What it is basically is you have a trauma that was created when you're 5 years old, 6 years old. The 5-year-old self didn't know what to do with it. And then when you're an adult, you get triggered because the adult version, the 35, the 40-year-old, doesn't know what to do with it. Therefore, it comes out in the feelings of built up that were suppressed. Then they come out, and then we go back and forth. Instead of just seeing it and allowing it to go, then we just suppress it back down. But that's what's happening. And so we have to really pay attention to these things. It's just important. It's important to understand you're going to hurt until you heal. And you're going to need to raise consciousness, because it's so much better to go through this consciously, to where you can see the pain, you can see what the pain's showing you, and then you can see the wisdom that this pain is going to bring for you. And so I hope this helps. I wanted to start this new year off like, let's get deep. You have to get deeper. You're going to get railroaded by this planet, by this energy, by this division. Like, you've got to be able to see bigger. You got to see bigger than the trauma. You got to see bigger than the anxiety. You're not these things. You're not these things, and you create it. Like, you have one of the most powerful tools in the world in this brain. If you can imagine it, you can create it. Imagine being healed. Imagine being loved. Create it. You create it, and then you create it within, and then you become it, and then suddenly the outer world reflects it. And suddenly the people in your life start coming in. And then afterwards, as you're becoming this, it's kind of like when you hear people talk about boundaries and cutting people off. Man, when you start self-love, your boundaries are automatic. That's what self-love creates. Your boundaries are automatic. And then the people that hate how you love yourself, and the boundaries that are now being enforced, they'll leave on their own. You don't even got to cut them off. It's automatic. We have to start using this and start raising our awareness. You're going to hurt until you heal. That's an acceptance. I'm going to hurt until I heal. This thing that is not healed within me will hurt. So now when I'm triggered and I feel this pain, I'm aware, I'm conscious, I'm aware. Where is this coming from? Where is it that I need to work here? And feel it and let it go. See it for what it is. I'm no longer that 5-year-old kid. I'm no longer in that memory. I'm no longer in that situation. I'm no longer that person. So I have to learn how to handle it as the version that I am right now. And we do this by paying attention to our how this world is, what this world is showing us. It's amazing when you can start seeing how this is all working. And so I hope this helps. I hope this sparks some interest. I'm going to put a link in the description, because I've created a special that I don't think you'll find anywhere else to do this kind of work. So if you're committed to yourself, if you're absolutely committed to your healing and to actually starting to find your path into the life of why you're here, and you want to work with someone, then use the link in the description, and hopefully this helps. And I hope everyone has a new year that is starting off absolutely wonderful. So with that, I will go. Namaste.